So I spent all of this morning chasing down the oil leak on the FRS, specifically with the oil cooler. When we first started this thing up and let it idle, it just started dumping oil out of the little housing for the oil filter. And because we have an MA Performance oil cooler on, I figured that the leak was coming from in between the sandwich plate and this adapter. And sure enough, after fiddling with it all morning, I was able to make sure that she didn't leak at all. There is still a little bit of a leak coming out of this fitting for the outlet on the oil cooler itself. But I already went ahead and ordered a new fitting, so we should be good to go whenever that piece ships. All that's basically left to do for now is to get my bride seat reinstalled into the car. Pick these up from a Facebook group for the FRS BRZ. So all we gotta do is just swap over the rails, throw this seat in the car, and then we're gonna take her out for a little test drive. Seat with the new rails is installed. It sits a lot higher than my other rails do. I guess just because I set it on the lowest setting on those before. This set of rails, yes, it doesn't have that many different levels for height adjustment, but it slides back and forth a lot nicer than those did. I honestly think that these might have been okay. I just had them installed wrong. Maybe I'll sell them for stupid cheap to someone. I guess now is the time to take her out for her maiden voyage. Let's go ahead and hop on in and pull this sucker out of the garage. Doesn't she look so aggressive with those Spec D headlights and no front bumper? Me gusta. This is definitely a weird look for me because I'm so used to just having a single tip. It does kind of look cool though. I just need to get rid of this stupid OEM crash bar. I need to hit up Street Faction or Drift Armor or something. It's so loud in here though. A lot louder than the S13. But for those of you wondering, no, I'm not going to be dogging this thing right out of the box. Yes, I did have James over at HRI Tuning send me a bass map. So technically, yes, it is tuned, but not tuned for this exact setup. I basically hit James up on Facebook saying, hey, I have an SPD 500X with larger injectors and a Walbro pump. And because he tunes so many cars on a regular basis, he just so happened to have a base map for me. Sure enough, he sent it over, and look at us. Here we are driving it. Okay, we're stuck behind a train. Guess this is a good time to check and see if that oil fitting is leaking any more than it was earlier. Let's see. Any leaking? Okay, yeah, a little bit, but it's okay for now. Not bad. Not bad at all. We'll go ahead and stop and fill her up on some fresh gas since she has been sitting in the garage for about 3 months or so. Okay, come on, trunk. Why aren't you opening? You're gonna make me do this the hard way. Ugh. First world problem right here. And another first world problem given the fact that I don't have a lever anymore to open up my gas tank lid. So I gotta press this tab right here. There we go, and it's opened. Good old Florida 93. There we go. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how good she looks from a distance? Up close, maybe not so much, because she's kind of beat up, but still. If that ain't drift car, then I don't know what is. Now I do know I had a check engine light while I was driving the whole time, but it was for something that I don't think really would affect the car. But let me show you. So for those of you that don't know, this is a P3 vent gauge. This plugs into your OBD2. So when I turn it on here, code 0102. That's your check engine light that you have. Now, as far as I know, that check engine light is for low MAF sensor voltage, which is something that actually happens when you boost your cars. It just messes with the mass airflow sensor. At least I think, after doing a little bit of research. I'll probably shoot James a message later today just to get his take on it. But I am going to be taking the FRS to HRI Tuning on the 21st. So that gives me a little bit of time to figure it out. Even though I think it's something that you can just disable within the tune. But there you have it. She is finally boosted and not ready to drift, but pretty close to. So as far as other things that we have planned for with the FRS, I actually have it all laid out on the ground right there and there. And there. I won't tease it. I'll just let you guys know what we have in store for future videos. So I have a Grimspeed boost controller. Needs to go on so that this thing can have an 8 PSI map, a 10 PSI map, a 12 PSI map, and a kill mode 14 PSI map. Moving on. My nameless Hydro with PBM Z32 rear brakes, the handbrake lines, the rear upper control arm, and dual caliper knuckle, all for the FRS. It's been a long time coming for getting a handbrake in the FRS. I actually purchased the nameless one over 2 years ago when it was first announced. It's not PBM's fault for it being forever for them to release the knuckle, but I have full faith in their quality, and I'm aiming to have the Hydro installed this upcoming weekend. Because let's face it, the stock handbrake in this thing is no longer working. I have tightened this sucker who knows how many times, and she has just had enough. But yeah, I figured I'd give you guys a little sneak peek of what's to come. So make sure to stay tuned for all of this stuff being installed. So that's going to be it for car stuff here back home. I need to make it on my way to Orlando because my final semester of college starts this following Monday. But I'm pretty excited to get back to Orlando because if you guys remember, my roommate Zach has his 240 that he picked up for stupid cheap. And I haven't seen it in a while. Is it running? I don't know. You'll see.